so I close out kind of going through some of these things here where they have a week of groceries for people from around the world. And I know a lot of you've probably seen some of these, but it's just interesting. And you can look at the food and then look at the physiology, and you can start to see a correlation between what the folks look like and what they're eating. And it's not in doing this is not about judgment, and it's not about, oh, look at these people. It's like, no, it's just, let's objectively look at this and see if we can understand why people look the way they look, why people feel the way they feel, and that kind of thing, and so we see a lot of meat going on. I mean, this, I guess, would be considered well balanced in a Western sense of, you got your meats and your vegetables and your grains and water and all this kind of stuff, but it's just there's a lot of meat there and eggs, and so this is that. And we get here, and you can see, fairly and some of these people around the world they're fairly close to a mucusless diet. Like, I'm a transition. All they would have to do is really eliminate several items, and maybe eliminate fish, or eliminate the little bit of meat that they had, or milk or something like that, and do some enemas, and they would be right on point. They would be like right on the transition, because this is, I'm seeing like the little fruit here, and just kind of get rid of whatever looks like milk, and some of the starchier things, but it's transitional. Some grains here. What's the Canadians eating here? So again, just kind of big old fish here. Now you're talking, like, again, mucusless diet. Like, I would love to be able to, like, find these folks and get them into some enemas, get them a little bit more fruit, and physiologically, folks that have this kind of physiology are going to be able to do incredible things. I know Dr. Morris talks about people that from the islands that are probably more, have similar physiologies, but or even come from a more fruit-based tradition. And he'll work with folks that are in their late 90s, and they'll come in with a little something, and it's easy for them because they can go right back to fruit, and they never look like they're in their 90s. They just it's just a whole different physiology. So folks that are coming from, see, that's the thing about karma that we got to understand, is a lot of people from the West will look at this picture and feel bad, like, oh, they don't have running water, they're, they want to call it, primitive, and all this. Is like, I'm looking at them like I want that, I want a physiology, like, I wish I could have started with this physiology, then got into the mucusless diet, and I'd be on a whole different level. I mean, I'd be on some incredible fasting, fruit eating, levitation level, just physiologically. And that's something a lot of people don't really understand that. And that's not and it's just, for me, it just gives me something to work toward. So it's like, okay, I'm trying to get clean, and but where you come from physiologically will dictate certain time constraints in terms of how fast you can go. Because sometimes you're gonna want to go faster than your physiology is gonna let you, because you just don't have that physiological history. You got to transition. Let's see, so for Subway, forget Subway. This is how you eat fresh. So you got a lot of plantain. So you can kind of see there's the starchy thing going on here, and you can kind of see it in the physiology a little bit. I mean, there's a starchy thing up here too, but it's like it's so meager that it's kind of like Eric talks about that someone that eats, even if they're eating mucus and pus forming foods, but they're eating a very small amount, in general, they're probably going to be better off than someone that might be vegetarian, but they're eating a ton of starch and that kind of stuff. Now, of course, they're not eating a ton. They're not that, but you can just see there's just a little bit, got the plantain action going on here. But overall, real plant-based looking there. We got France here. And in general, I mean, I find in general that most Europeans eat less than, as far like there's not that I'm coming from that gluttony type of tradition in America, and I notice that it's not as much in Europe. We got Germany, boy, hey, they're into this what is it, pop. these sweet things here. But that's interesting because so up here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, they're children, but you got 6 people, and then all of this is for 4 people, and that's 2 children and 2 adults, and that's quite a bit for 4 people. I mean, when you look at it, like you also got to look at how many people are in the picture. In Guatemala, you got and the other thing you notice is I noticed that a lot of, especially the people like here, when you get into South America and Africa and stuff, it's a lot of plant based. A lot of there's more vegetables and grains and things that are vegan than there are meat. The meat is the exception. It's the thing you might eat once or twice a week as opposed to eating every day. But that's not the case when you get in most of the Western, Western ones. So we got Britain. Would say it's starting to seem like the richest countries have the least healthy eating habits. Nearly everything in here is packaged. That is a good observation there. And it's just fascinating. You can see physiologically it looks, you can just make that connection. Then we got India. Another interesting thing I've kind of noticed is, I don't know, I've in some of these, and I don't really know, I can't explain why yet, but I've noticed that sometimes the women will have a more kind of mucus type of physiology from the starch, but sometimes the men will be a little more uric acid type, be more slender. And Italy, and there's a lot of Italians are on the uric acid side of things, or they're just kind of a slender physiology, but I think it's a cleaner. The ones I've met are a little, like, it's kind of a cleaner uric acid type, so it's fairly easy to get into the Mucusless diet, to kind of get into the transition without too much physiological disturbance. Mali, so we're back to kind of got the grains and a little bit of fruits and stuff here and there. I don't even see any meat down there. And again, look at the number of people for the amount of food. It's like, because that already doesn't look like a ton of food, but it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There's 15 people for this, and of course it's, again, I would love to go down and say, okay, here, get some more fruits in here, get some enemas going, and physiologically, folks that come from this kind of background they're just gonna excel. They're just gonna take off. Here we got brothers and sisters in Mexico, and and the thing I like about Mexico is there's always some good fruit, man. I love going to the Mexican market, because they always got good ripe fruit going on. And so that's always a part of that. And of course, there's gonna be, you drink a lot of pop, because that sweetness. But all you had to do, all you would really have to do in this situation is, okay, get you a juicer, get some more fruit, and juice, and then really so you get that sweetness that because you aren't gonna get sweeter than some grape juice, or take you some whatever you got down here and start, kind of find the sweetest thing you can find and start juicing it. That's going to give you that kind of sweetness, if you kind of could get rid of all this high fructose corn syrup or sugar or whatever they use. I know I think some of the pop has real sugar in it or like cane sugar instead of the high fructose. But we got Mongolia, seems okay. Not as green as some other places. Lots of eggs. So this is very. This is what we probably would call a kind of a one-sided meat diet. A lot of pus with the eggs and the meats and stuff. We got a little bit of bread here going on. Got you a little bit of fruit and vegetables there. But yeah, that's. Okay, so this is, welcome home for me. This is what I came from. Several pizzas per week. This is pretty close. A bunch of chips, milk, and a bunch of drink. Not juice, but drink. 20% real fruit juice. Yep. And you can see the physiology. That's what's going on. So hopefully you got a little something from that, and this series of talking about different physiology types, and basically, hopefully you understand better now. If you've watched all these, you understand a little better what we mean when we say lean versus mucus, and maybe in the future I will do more videos where I specifically talk about transitional and mucusless diet methodologies that were best for the different types of physiologies, and we can kind of go over some of that. So I want to thank you as always for tuning in. Hit the like button and hit the subscribe button and share, tell your friends, and we will get ourselves together and transition the world into a more rational, calm, and clean place. So I thank you, and I'll talk to you later. Peace, love, and breath.